Okay, hello everybody. Uh, Jason here from Okies Eden. Hold on. I have my coffee. I just finished everything I need to finish for the next 5 days. And so I decided I'd come back on real quick to see if I could do a short live. I wanted to briefly touch on the start of Okies Eden. I don't think I've ever really done an intro video that talked about what Okies Eden is about. Okies Eden started years ago. It didn't start in February 2023. The vision I had for Okies Eden started a long time ago. Growing up in upstate New York in the mountains, I'm from a large family. There's 11 of us total in the family. And we grew a lot of our own food. We cut our own wood because we burned wood. We weren't a rich family. We survived. And as I've gotten older now, and my parents have passed years ago, I see myself now almost like I'm looking at my parents. I see some of the traits and some of the things that my parents did that I do now. Oh, hey, homie. So with that said, the whole start of Okies Eden was years ago. We used to garden all the time as a kid, and I've done some as an adult, and then I've done it for quite a few years again now. And my Okies Eden thought, vision, whatever you want, dream, whatever you want to call it, years ago was to kind of pay a homage to my dad. My dad taught me everything I know about gardening. My grandfather and grandmother also, they had a farm stand. They had a produce stand in the country for many years. And, you know, you don't think about it much back then, but as you get older, you know, I'm almost 60 now. And so as you start to recall things in your childhood, I think it starts to have an impact more in your life as you get older. So I've gotten more into gardening again as a hobby. And of course I grow potatoes and green beans and the such and the like. But it's more, Okies Eden, the vision I had was to have trellises, a nice big garden, and a water feature maybe of some sort. And I also want to have wildflowers to draw in butterflies and honeybees and dragonflies and whatever else. And then I want to have some bird feeders out. And I really want to bring, hey Roy, how you doing? Roy, I'm going to give you a blue wrench real quick if you don't mind. But that was the whole vision, beginning of Okies Eden, was years ago in my childhood. Then as I got older and I'm getting closer to retirement, I wanted a garden that I could have, that I could support me, my family, neighbors, people in need. So if they ever needed food, they had a place they could go to for fresh fruits or vegetables. So that was basically the vision behind it. And then taking what my father taught me, which was a lot. I should have listened more to my father years ago, but you know, teenagers know everything. But now I'm recalling all of that stuff, and I've become more successful in my gardening just as I recall the things he taught me, my grandfather taught me, working on the dairy farm for years, right up and through almost to high school, or to my graduation, working on farms, dairy farms. Learned so much there. So that was the impetus behind Okies Eden. And I really wanted to kind of, in a way, honor my dad, especially because of what he taught me and how he was so meticulous and careful about how he grew a garden and how important it was to feed your family and support your family and work for your family so that they could have what he didn't, because he did not have a good childhood. He didn't have a great childhood. He wanted us to have more, just like I want my kids to have more. And so that's where Okies Eden was born. And I, the thought and the process and the dream was already there. February 2023, I finally went live with it on YouTube. So anything you see on YouTube from February 2023 till now, that was already in motion for years, especially the last couple of years as I've increased the size of the garden, what I'm growing, and my thoughts of how I'm going to support my family, friends, neighbors with food if needed. And so that's where that came from. So I never really did a full-on intro to that, but that is what it was about. But you know, you don't think about things like that until your parents are actually gone and you can't talk to them anymore or ask their advice anymore or seek their counsel. When they're gone, you have to go by what you remember. And it's actually quite a lot. You know, kids are sponges, and even if you're not always listening to your parents, I think your subconscious and your brain is kind of soaking it in like a sponge. Hey, Natty, how you doing? And so while I wish I had listened to my mom and dad years ago more, because they were great parents, they really were. And my dad was just, he was a cool guy to know, and very well liked by everybody. And I don't say that just off the cuff. I'm serious. He was very well liked in our city, our town, very well known. Yeah, he was visible, you know, in the county, in the community. But he instilled in us how to grow gardens and stuff, and how important it was to grow and be able to grow your own food, not depend on somebody else to feed you, because it might not always be there. One of the reasons that I really kicked it into gear the last year and a half was last year in 2024, the city down the road from me that had the grocery store that was closest to us was taken out by a tornado. And with that said, you know, you have to either go 30 miles north or 30 miles west to get any kind of produce. The way I shop is I buy a lot of meat and put it in a freezer, and then I just shop, you know, milk, eggs, things like that during the week. But once the produce was taken out, I decided, you know what, I have lots of meat in the freezer. I'm not driving 30 miles to get potatoes. I can grow potatoes. So that's where that all started. That's why the garden really amped up this year. The vision was always there. The dream was always there. I like gardening. I love gardening. I love the hobby. I like being outside. It's good work. It keeps me in shape, so on and so forth, all that good stuff. But when I'm out there, it's calming. I think of my dad often, and to me that's really cool. Even though he's been gone 15 years, it's like he's there, and I hope he can see it, because I know that if he was here today, he'd be really proud of the garden, especially when I did the harvest the other day and I had a huge harvest. Now, my garden was nothing like my dad's. My parents, we had 3 or 4 gardens depending what we dug up. Our garden sizes were typically probably 100 feet wide by maybe 150 feet long. That would be 4 of them. So we'd have 4 gardens. One would be green beans, one would be peas, one would be potatoes, one would be strawberries. Every day you come home from school, you were working in the garden. No questions asked. You came home, you put your books down, you put your shoes on. Didn't have swim shoes then. My hack on swim shoes. I still use my swim shoes now, but I didn't have them then. And you went out and you dealt with the potato bugs. You weeded each row. You harvested whatever. You snipped peas. You snipped green beans. That was our childhood, because that was your survival. You didn't have a choice. Either you did that or you didn't eat. And that instills in you a work ethic that is very important to have. So that's where that whole Okies Eden came from. So the vision started long ago when I was a young kid, and it just kind of finally blossomed when I hit my almost 60 years old. And so that is the story behind Okies Eden. And Okies Eden, you know, in my childhood, I never thought I'd ever do a channel on YouTube talking about a garden and my parents and my childhood. But here we are in 2025. And so the dream was there, the vision was always there. this is now a platform I can kind of display it on. So with that said, that's enough mumbo jumbo stuff. How is everybody doing? Oh, hey, Al, I'm sorry, I have not been looking at the screen to see who's here. So I apologize, I've just been rambling. I wanted to get that all in because I never did a really good intro to Okies Eden. So there it is. You want to go back and watch it, go for it, please do. If not, whatever. I don't, I don't care. I'm almost 60 years old. You know, if you want to watch it, go watch it. If you think I'm interesting, watch. If you don't, then it was nice knowing you. But Allison, how are you doing today? To plant bulbs. Your husband, well, yeah. Well, the whole thing of Allison, if you want some advice, can I give you some advice about planting in the rain and the thunderstorm? What you want to do is you always want to make sure when you are planting out in a thunderstorm to make sure you have a big either piece of sheet metal that you're holding onto to, over you to guard you, or hold onto a long aluminum pole. I am just kidding. Do not do that. That was a joke. Explorer Rinks, how are you? It's good to see you again. Yeah, I'm putting in more the next for the next couple of days, or for the last couple of days, Rinks, because that's right, Natty Zap. I have my grandson for 5 days, starting tonight. So I'm trying to get in some stuff because I may be on over the next couple of days. It all depends on how that all goes. If he's, if we're not having any issues or anything, I'll probably try to drop on for a live here or there. But I had time. I just got finished. I finally got done outside, took a quick shower, got everything done inside the house for my grandson to be here. So I decided, you know what, I got an hour. I'll sit down and try to do a quick live. Stole a jewelry jar from my, are you kidding me? Did they catch them? Hopefully, Allison. But yes, Explorer, I am pushing hard. I work on it every day. If I'm not behind the camera, I am. You'll see I dropped there's a bunch of little videos coming out. I did want to say this to everybody. Right now, in the first hour, I dropped a video of my stupid blooper from my 5-minute live the other day. And I just dropped it a few minutes ago, where I did the quick blooper, and then I played it in reverse, and I played it with a high-pitched voice. That has more views right now. That's above any views I've ever had for a short. So I wanted to say thank you to everybody. I appreciate you going to watch that and liking it and stuff. Yeah, that was from my live, Natty, where I spoke, I mixed a bunch of words. Right in the first, literally 2 seconds, I literally got mumbo jumbo. And so I said, I kept it in there, and I never took it out. I'm not going to. I figured, you know what? That would be really funny if I played it and then played it with to speed it up so it sounded like I was high-pitched, and then play it in reverse. So that's what that short is about. And right now, I don't know if it'll continue, but it was right now for the first hour, it had over, I think, 275 views or something, which was above what my shorts usually do. So thank you, everybody, for doing that. Oh, so Allison, have you ever thought, I think they're pretty cheap now. Can you get a ring, the ring camera, or ring light, or not ring light? Is it called ring? I don't know. It's a camera that you can put in there that I think is battery operated. No, I'm not gonna hit 1,000 today. It's a short, I might hit 1,000 likes. I might hit 1,000 views today. Yes, I could. But as far as subscriptions and hours, I won't count towards the hours because it's a short. But Allison, are you kidding me? Oh, okay, yeah, Natty, I could possibly see 1,000. Yes, thank you. That's terrible. I'm sorry, Allison. That's ridiculous. That if you have stuff there, I mean, then they should be liable for that. If they're gonna, that's called shrinkage in the, in that world. I mean, are they gonna give you money back for that, or somehow make restitution to you for that? Because if they're not gonna allow you to use their Wi-Fi with a camera or something, you know what? What about, can you get a hunting camera? Yeah, your Hilda ones are pretty good. I was actually, I'm doing a response possibly, if it's okay with you, Allison. I'm doing a snarky response to that. It's all in good fun. It's nothing bad. If that's okay with you. I wanted to check with you first. I didn't want to just do it because I don't want to overstep my bounds because that's not right. But yes, Natty, I hope so. I hope I do get there. But hunting camera, Allison. Hunting camera just requires battery. No, nothing. It comes on when somebody comes in, and that way, if something's missing, you can go back and view all the footage. But yeah, try out the trail cams, they call them. I think they're pretty inexpensive now. And it doesn't require Wi-Fi, just requires some batteries. Set it in the corner, it catches every time somebody walks into your booth, it captures it captures what they're doing. Okay, so I'll tag you guys. It's about you and Paula, but it'll be funny, it'll be clean, it'll be nice. It's just a joke. Hopefully people will understand that. Hold on, I've only had one cup today. I got to have some Go juice here. Yes, I'm officially old. I drink hot coffee even when it's 95 degrees out. I will grab a coffee. I will sit on my porch with a cup of coffee. I used to laugh at my parents for that, and now I'm doing it. I used to say to my dad, "What is wrong with you? Why do you drink hot coffee when it's 90 degrees out?" And he's like, "It equalizes the heat, the temperature inside the body and outside so you don't feel it." I'm like, what? What are you talking about? But I guess that's what, yeah, where is Paula? Yeah, who knows where Paula, oh, I know Paula does VBS at night, so she might be preparing for that, I think. Well, honestly, who doesn't want to be around Okie? I mean, Okie's hustle and Okie Eden is where it is at. I mean, everybody knows that. That's why I have 74 subscribers on one and like 360 on the other. I mean, it just shows I'm popular. That makes sense, Natty. I guess, well, maybe there was more to it. Maybe I shouldn't have made fun of my father. I am from the Northeast. I'm from upstate New York. And we're about 90 to 95 the last week or so. Oh yeah, I'm a superstar. I'm a rock star, that's right. And I can't believe, I talked to my sister the other day, and I can't believe the temperature. They're hotter than us right now up north, in the Northeast. And the difference between the Northeast and the Deep South, or Oklahoma, Texas, whatever you want to call the Deep South. Down here, you'll get a month or two of 100-degree heat. But most people down here have the central air conditioning, and they're set up for it. So, you go from your air-conditioned car to your air-conditioned house to the air-conditioned grocery store, whatever. Up north, they don't usually, they have maybe a window unit or two, but they don't really set up for it because it doesn't happen that often. They're more interested in staying warm in the winter. And so I think that's one of the big differences I've noticed from living up there down here is we didn't have, and when I grew up, we didn't have AC. So when it was 95, it was 95. You slept when if it was 85 degrees in your house at night, that's what you slept in. You didn't have AC. We couldn't afford AC, and we didn't, we wouldn't have had AC. So, but down here, everybody has their central AC. Hey, Raising, how you doing from India? Good to see you. I don't know if I've ever seen you on my channel before. So if you're from, welcome anyways. So if you're from the Northeast, give a shout out. My day was fine. I worked outside. I literally walked outside. Guess what? There was a cucumber sitting there on the vine. So what did I do? I picked it off and I ate it before I come in here. And then I got a little bit of gardening done. I got all the stuff done, preparing for the weekend. And here I am. I decided to go take a quick shower. Now I can just relax till about 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time here in the United States. and I can kind of just relax. I'm going to cook some dinner here in a little bit. But I wanted to come on and say hey to everybody. But Allison, let me know if what you do with that whole camera thing. And did you get, I can't remember if you told me you did get it or not. Did you get my my Okies Eden, whatever you call it? Did I send you the file for my, I don't know what you would call it? Okay, cool. I'm at a loss for words here. I'm trying to figure the word I'm trying to say. The picture of the Okies Eden emblem, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I got that down to you. So that's next, and then next logo. Thank you, Natty. Do you ever have one of those times when you just can't remember the word? That's what I did that, if anybody watched my Okies Hustle, where I've been doing the vegetable analogies, how a garden is like, you know, how it's like YouTube and all of that. And I just said at the end, you know, I got nothing. I just thought that would be funny because I keep doing these analogies and I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna take that potato photo and just come up with some weird analogy, then not be able to come up with something at the end and then just say that. So that was kind of a joke. And that did very well on the lives. It did pretty well on the lives. So Raising is from India. I know Explorer Rinks is from India, and I know I have a couple other followers from India. Hey, introvert, Jennifer is here. I am having a wonderful day. Unfortunately, I don't have the Alaskan landscape and mountain ranges that I get to view every day. I have to look at red dirt, cedar trees, and the blazing sun is 102. But I'm just kidding, Jennifer. Welcome. Everybody say hey to Jennifer. Jennifer, if you tell me it's 95 degrees in Alaska right now, then I know the world is ending. No, I'm just joking. It's not 102 here today, no. It's going to be in a couple weeks, but I was just saying because Oklahoma's always hot. Oh, it's 54? Okay. Let me ask this. I'm going to do it. Let me throw out this real quick trivia question about something with me. Oh, what was that one I was going to ask the other day? Have another brain fart. I had it at the tip of my tongue and then I lost it. Doesn't matter, it wasn't important. If I can't remember it, it wasn't important, right? What is everybody doing for dinner tonight? Depending on wherever you're at in the world, your next dinner, supper, whatever, what's your next meal going to be? Give me a blue wrench. Raising, I'm not giving you a blue wrench, and I'll tell you why. Not to be mean, not to be, rude or nothing. I don't know you. I give blue wrenches to people I've interacted with for a long time on YouTube that I trust. We had a case the other night with one of the lives I was on. It was not my live, it was somebody else's. They gave a person a blue wrench that they didn't know, and then that person proceeded to go and start putting everybody in timeout. So they had to get rid of him. So I don't give wrenches until you're a subscriber, and I subscribe to you. I see your content, and I think it's kind of paired with what I do or not morally bad, then I would give you a blue wrench. So eventually, if we remain in interaction with each other and we follow each other, I'll give you a blue wrench, but I won't give you one today. Well, Allison, then you have the life. If you're waiting for your husband to make dinner, that is great. Because I make dinner, because I set my schedule up so I'm the one that's home to make dinner. So when my wife gets home, she has dinner. Make my channel blue. Somebody got deleted. I don't know. Oh, Yeah, okay, yes, thank you, Natty. Yeah, when they start doing that nonsense, then they're just, hey, Charlie Silverberg, chicken Alfredo's that's a great choice. Thank you, Natty, I appreciate it. That means you're gonna starve. I'm making homemade sharp cheddar macaroni and cheese tonight. I'm gonna do that on one of my cooking videos one day, or I might even just do it on a live. It is a recipe that goes back, I think, at least 3 generations in my family. And I'll show that someday, because you make a roux. Yeah, sharp cheddar. So sometimes, what is the name brand of it? It's Vermont. They have sharp, and then they have, they call it, it's a red package. It's seriously sharp. It's even sharper than sharp cheddar. That's the one that we like. It's really got a bite to it. And then I make the actual roux. I make a roux. I make an actual cream sauce before you melt the cheese on, and then it gets baked. Old cheddar, yeah. Cheddar's great. Vermont. Oh, okay. Introvert. So where I lived in upstate New York, I was right on the border. If you know where Albany, Schenectady, Troy is, it's called the tri-state area. I lived near there. So where they all converged together, you had you had Vermont, New York, and Massachusetts that all came to like the same point. I lived right near there. I've been to Shaftesbury, Vermont. I've been to what is the name of it? Burlington, Bennington, and then there's a place with all the shops. I'm losing it there. I can't remember the name of the little town, but it was outside of Bennington, and they had a lot of shops and stuff. So we used to go over there all the time. In Vermont, we had a map. We used to go to these all the covered bridges. We used to go visit the covered bridges, and they had maps back then where, okay, Rutland. Yeah, Rutland. I've been to Rutland. Yep. The thing I always regret, I never took the ferry over from Vermont to the New York side or New York to the Vermont side. Never did that. Spent my childhood and older years up in the Adirondack Mountains, up near Plattsburgh and Lake Placid and Saranac Lake and Lake Flower and Lake Cushaqua and Indian Lake, all those northern lakes. Fished those, camped in those, stayed at cabins, loved that area. Never took the ferry over, and I always regretted that. But we've been to many of the covered bridges in Vermont. They were all, that was one of my favorite things, was visiting the covered bridges in Vermont. But yeah, Vermont's a beautiful state. You've been in you went from Vermont to Alaska. I mean, you've had some really good outdoorsy type states. But yeah, it takes that some time. I mean, I live in Oklahoma. Every state has its own beauty. Oklahoma's a very pretty state, and they got Turner Falls. The water's beautiful. When you get up in Turner, it's almost like a mineral water, so it's got that bluish greenish tint to it, and it's clear. You can swim in it. They got the falls there, and then Oklahoma City's not far from me. And you got some good countryside here. Montana. New Mexico would be awesome. I've always wanted to go to Montana. Okay, we're close to the same age. Jennifer, here's a movie quote. You tell me what movie it's from. See if you can get this. I want to live in Montana. I want to be a cowboy. Hey, Chef Zed, how you doing? You've never been to Oklahoma. Okay, unsubscribe. If you haven't been to Oklahoma, how can I subscribe to your channel? You're not missing anything. Question mark. Allison, what's the question mark for? Nope, not Toy Story. Not even close. You're not missing much. Hunt for Red October. Hunt for Red October, Sean Connery, Miss Moneypenny, Sean Connery, James Bond. Yeah, he was talking to, I can't remember the actor's name, but when they were there talking about, they were going to, come to the United States. It was a Hunt for Red October with Alec Baldwin, Sean Connery. Oh man, there's so many good actors and actresses and actors in that. He's talking to the guy on the bunk when they're in the sub, and he goes, "What are you going to do when you get to the United States?" And he goes, "I want to live in Montana. I want to be a cowboy." I guess I'm the old one. I guess it kind of sucks when you're the old guy in the room. Natty Homemaker, you never saw that? All right, unsubscribe, unsubscribe. If you haven't seen or been in Oklahoma and you haven't seen Hunt for Red October, how can I subscribe to you people? Okay, it was a Sam Neill. Is that who it was? Okay. Yeah, that was a good movie all around. I mean, it really was. I'm kidding, Natty. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. I'm only kidding. Do you think so, Allison? I mean, they got, they have OSU. I would. So many of my subscribers, I mean, yeah, I would miss if they left. I mean, because we have really good interactions on all the lives, on each other's channels. We're always supporting each other. Of course, I'd miss that. Of course, you the most. I'd miss you the most. I mean, of course. It's my foggy brain from Parkinson's. That makes me not remember anything. I get that. Yep. Yeah, I know you're dealing with that. That's a terrible thing to deal with. My dad had that with the Alzheimer's. But yeah, I know that's not fun to have. I will tell you, I mean, I don't know what he's like personally, but I've always liked Michael J. Fox, especially like the movies, like Growing Pains. Was it Growing Pains he was in? No, not Growing Pains. What was he in? Family Ties. Family Ties and Back to the Future. All of them, He's been in. He was in the show Scrubs for a few shows, and he's actually used his the Parkinson's in some of the shows to kind of get people to see Parkinson's and see what it's about. Even though people know about it, but it does give more light to the subject. And he's done a lot for the cause. And I know I think he has some kind of a charity that helps with that. But he made Back to the Future. I mean, I always liked him in that Family Ties. I just thought he did such a good job. And then he wasn't the original. Yeah, I know they're working on it. I know there's some, like with Alzheimer's. I don't know if it's the same with Parkinson's, but I know with Alzheimer's, I still remember that when my dad had the Alzheimer's and he was in his final, 6 or 8 months, I know the hospice nurse had told us that they had come out with some medications that were proven to slow Alzheimer's down like by years. So if they were like 70 and they got Alzheimer's, they still might make 80. It would really put the brakes on pretty good. And I heard at that time he said they were talking about, because a lot of times Parkinson's and Alzheimer's can go hand in hand. And he said that they were working on a Parkinson's one too that slowed the progression of it. So I'm hoping that they do come out with something. And that was, the one for Alzheimer's was 15 years ago. And I know they do have some medications that do slow that now. All right, we'll get rid of that guy for a minute because he doesn't need to be here talking about that. So that would be awesome if they come out with a cure for that soon. Even if it wasn't a complete cure, if they could slow it down. And because, a lot of times you can slow stuff down and then they do end up getting a cure, would be cool. But who knows? You know, I don't want to get into the whole pharmaceutical industry, but you know. Okay. Zed, I will be there for that. I will definitely. Oh, Natty, don't worry about it. He was asking about Lamar Jackson and the NFL and whatever was going on with that whole situation. I don't want to deal with any of that. You're fine. Hi, Diana D. Chef Zed, I plan on watching your live. I'm going to be cooking dinner here in a few minutes. I'm making sharp cheddar mac and cheese, and I'll have my phone up on the tripod, watching that while I'm cooking. Let me ask you guys this. Does anybody else cut up hot dogs and put them in mac and cheese? Or is that just my crazy family? Cool. Diana D, do you do any content creation? Oh, putting hot dogs in mac and cheese. Now I'm talking real mac and cheese. So it's all made. I make the roux. I shred the cheese myself. I do all of that. I shred the whole thing. I boil the noodles. I do all of that. So it's all homemade basically. Oh, that's too bad, living Allison. That's the kind of the way I feel too. I don't want to live life like you said in a shell. I don't. If I ever get something like that, which I could, because my parents both had Alzheimer's and dementia. They both died from complications to that. So that's genetic. It's a good chance I'm going to get that, and you know I know that. I've made peace with that. You're hot. Yes, you're hot. I don't get that. Okay, I must have missed something. But anyways, but yeah, believe me, if any of my subscribers live near me, everybody knows there's always a seat at our table. And people know that if they needed something, if they needed food, we would help them. I mean, I have no trouble with people stopping in. I always make enough. If they show up and I need to make more, I'll make more. It's not that hard. Diana D, I didn't see. Do you do content creation of anything? Or do you just subscribe to people and watch their channels, or because I try to follow people. You don't do any. Well, try doing some content creation. Pick something that you like to do, or a hobby or something. And yeah, I know, Natty, you're in Canada. I know. I never made it to Canada. That was always on my bucket list. Oh, the hot dogs. Thank you. Canada. And what's a shame is I've been to Niagara Falls. I've been up to Plattsburgh millions of times. We were right there at the border. And we always wanted to cross over the border and go in for stuff, and just never did. And I always regret that. I mean, one of these days maybe I will. But I have a bucket list. I want to see a little more of Europe. I would like to make Alaska. I want to make Hawaii. Because I've been to a lot of the continental United States. I would love to go on a safari in Africa, and I would like to go to the Australian outback. But my biggest bucket list, I mentioned this in one of my past lives on another live here, was my biggest bucket list item is I want to get some really cool buckets before I pass. I mean, I want some really nice buckets. So I can look at those buckets on the porch and say, those are my buckets. And here's my list. Here's my list of buckets. And I'll even name them. I'll name those buckets. Diana D, do I get money for posting content? I should, because, I'm the Okies. I show up somewhere, people should be throwing money at me, not change, that hurts. I want bills or checks or, cash apps or something. But no, I don't get paid. I'm not monetized yet. I'm working there. We're all on this page. We're all a community trying to get monetized. I will get monetized someday. I'm not yet. And I'm working towards it every single day. And I'll get there. I will get there. Just takes time, takes a lot of work. So if you're going to do content creation, it takes a lot of work to produce, edit, all that stuff. Yeah, superstar. That's right. Hey, the pleasure's all yours. God bless me. But somebody's hitting hearts. I don't see the heart thing on my page here, or I'd hit hearts back, but. Go ahead, Allison. Hit us with something. What are you going to tell me? You've driven through British Columbia and Alberta from New Mexico to Anchorage. Canada's beautiful. Oh, wow. That's a drive. Okay, Diana, thank you very much. Oh, okay, hold on here. Why? Give me a second. Don't give me the answer just yet. See you later, Diane. Bye. Thanks for showing up. Why are colds bad criminals? Oh, let's see. Why are colds bad criminals? Okay, I don't know. Allison, go ahead, hit me with it. Why are colds bad criminals? Come on, Allison, do I have to have the Jeopardy music playing? Oh, okay, because they're easy to catch. Perfect. I wasn't even thinking along that line. I was thinking bad as in they do really bad stuff. My mind was going there. Okay. That makes sense. If you guys don't follow this lady on YouTube, her name is Jokes with Amber. Jokes with Amber. I believe she's British, I think. And she tells riddles every day. And some of them are really difficult. But I like watching her. She's very upbeat. I like her video presentation, all that. So, but if you haven't followed her or seen her, it's Jokes with Amber. Well, everybody, I do have to go because I have to get dinner started because it ain't going to cook itself. But I appreciate everybody showing up. And again, thank you for following me. Thank you for your, for liking, for showing up the lives. And I look forward to continuing to watch your content and helping each other to get to monetization. So from Southern Oklahoma, you all have a great day. Peace out.